Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is a little interesting. This one is about the size of notes, not the denomination, but the actual physical size. Now, I'm sure most of you are thinking, well, yeah, there's two sizes of notes. There's the small size and there's the large size. Well, no. This list is going to be the top 10 different sized notes that we've had. So top 10 different physical sizes for notes. And with that being the title, I think number 10 on the list is going to be quite obvious. For number 10, we're going with a small-sized U.S. currency. This is a $100 bill from 1928. 1928 was the year that we switched to this particular size currency, and this is the size that's in your pocket right now, so this should be a very familiar size to you guys. They switched to this size because by making the note about a third smaller, they would save about a third on ink and about a third on paper. So just that little bit, they were able to recoup quite a bit of cash. So yeah, number 10, small size currency, the stuff that's in your pocket right now. Number 9, well, if that was the small, this is the large size currency. Large size currency was what we used prior to 1928. When you hold the small size note up to it, you can see there's a huge difference right there. And of course, these will be my comparisons then, so everybody knows what the small size is, and now you've seen the large size in comparison. A huge difference in notes. This one, of course, is my 1862 $1 legal tender. I always like showing this one, mainly because it's graded, and it's graded quite well, actually, 35 EPQ. Anyway, the large size notes, this basically covers most of the notes that are prior to 1928. This particular one is 1862, so from 1862 to essentially 1923, this was the standard size of note. That is number 9. Number 8. Well, what did we do before then? Well, before then, we had Continental Currency. Continental Currency, this is from 1776. See if I can zoom in on here. It's trying to focus on my reflection and not focusing on the note. So let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. Now it's starting to focus. And if I scroll down, you can see right there, February 17th, 1776 on this particular note. Is it going to focus? Let's see. There it is. 1776. Now, this is way smaller than the large size notes. We'll get this focused in again here. There we go. You can see how much smaller this is. Basically, you could make 4 of these from one large size note. Almost the exact same size across the top. But yeah, 1776, this is Continental Currency. This was put out by the Continental Congress, and it was done so that we would actually have a national currency. If I remember right, you can even read somewhere on here, United States. Where is it on here? Yeah, this particular one is 1/6 of a dollar. Anyway, that is number 8 on my list, Continental Currency. How about before Continentals? Then we get to number 7 on the list, Colonial. Colonial Currency is close in size, but you can see here, this is the Continental, this is the Colonial, and if I lay them over the top, you can see the entire Colonial Currency. You can see that one is a little bit bigger, about half an inch bigger. So yeah, Colonial Currency was what we used prior to being the United States. Colonial Currency, this is, if I remember, 20 shillings, and this particular note was printed by Benjamin Franklin. I've done a whole video on this one. I believe you can kind of make out where it says Franklin on here. Where'd it go? That's not it there. It's up here somewhere, and of course, it's going to take its time trying to focus. Right there, you can see the A, the N, the K, the L, the I. That's where it would say Franklin on this particular note. But yeah, this is, like I said, go ahead and focus. Come on, you can do it. It's not going to focus because there's nothing to focus on. We'll try that. There we go. 1759 20 shillings colonial note, slightly bigger than the Continental stuff. That is number 7, 10987, number 7 on the list. Number 6. Now there was kind of an interim currency, and what that was known as the, oh, where is it? It's in here somewhere. These were the treasury notes of the War of 1812. And all I've got here is what the book has listed here, and treasury notes of 1812. You can see these almost look like checks. Those are the treasury notes. These would be slightly larger than the large size notes that I was showing before. But yeah, treasury notes of the War of 1812. That would be next on the list. And you can see it doesn't really look like currency. It looks more like a check or like a particular note. Yeah, and at 30 grand per, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of these up close and personal. So yeah, treasury notes from the War of 1812, 10987. That would be number 6. Number 5 on the list, also kind of an interim note. These were known as compound interest notes. Compound interest notes, or interest-bearing notes. I put these on the list, not that you're ever going to find them, but you may find replicas and stuff like that. Here is one right here. Now you'll see the back of the note. Well, here's the front of the note, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections that were made to be tore off to actually collect the interest on. So based on how many of these sections were left, let you know how much interest was left to be claimed on this particular note. Then when you look on the back of the note, you can see the back of the note has where the note would end, and then this portion here was the portion behind the parts that got torn away. Now, there were a number of different types. Here's another one that's got one little thing of interest on it there. Yeah, so interest-bearing notes, their shapes constantly changed. So with the shape changing, it's pretty tough to actually give them a specific size, because you never know how much interest was already claimed on that particular note. So that was number 6, 10987. Oh, 6, that was number 5. Number 4. For number 4, I went with fractional currency. Now, the fractionals, during the Civil War, change was very hard to come by. People were hoarding precious metals, and making change was extremely difficult. So what the government did is they turned to the post office, and the post office came up with an idea for postal currency, otherwise known as fractional currency. This particular one is a 25-cent fractional, and the 5-cent fractional looks just like this, but only has one of these images on it. They use the variation of postage stamps to declare. Now, this is one note, not meant to be torn apart, but you can see that it does have the, what would you call it, the perforation all along the side that you'd find on stamps. So that was kind of interesting. Not all of them had the perforation, but some of them did. So a 25-cent fractional, once again, these were small compared to the actual large size notes that were in use. Large size note, fractional. So yeah, huge difference there. And of course, this thing keeps going in and out of focus on me. But yeah, you can see the difference in size there pretty easily. So that's number 1098765. That's number 4, the fractional currencies. Number 3, along the line of fractional currency, and yes, it does pain me to keep grabbing the book, but I can only do what I've got, and I still want to be able to show this stuff. People would use postage stamps, and what they would do, like you'd see here, is actually encase the postage stamp in a metal ring like this, and that way they would work as change. 2-cent stamp, 2-cent stamp, 3-cent stamp, 1 cent. So by putting the stamps in these holders like that, you had encased postage stamps that people would use as change. Because even today, postage stamps are considered currency. They're spendable. They are guaranteed by the government, and they have a monetary value. So that is number 3 on the list, if I recall. Number 2. Number 2, we are going with my MPC. This is a military payment certificate. Military payment certificates also are not all the same size, but they are of a different size. Military payment certificates, these were used as cash on the bases. That way you didn't have to worry about anybody coming in and trying to steal money, using the money for anything other than what it was designed for on the base. And by only using military certificates on bases, well, it's the only place these notes can be spent. So if somebody was to get a bunch of these, they couldn't do anything with them. They're not good anywhere but on bases. So yeah, military payment certificates like these, very cool notes, and clearly a different size compared to what everybody is used to seeing. All right, so that was number 2. Number 1 on my list. What's number 1? I went with my $10,000 gold certificate. Now, this is my $10,000 gold certificate, and when we say certificate, that's literally what it is. Think of it not like a silver certificate, which looks like money, or most of your regular gold certificates that look like money. This is a certificate. This certifies that you had $10,000 in gold coin. Now, it is a different size compared to large size notes. If I line these up, this side to this side, you can see, that's where I've got damage on my note. We'll try it this way. Large size to large size, you can see it is significantly shorter this way. And if I line it from top to bottom, there's the bottom, you can see it's significantly taller on the back. Even if I flip these around, you can see how this one completely blocks out the back. There it is there, showing that's the difference. So yeah, this wasn't necessarily designed to be shoved in your wallet, because why would you be carrying around $10,000? This was basically a certificate certifying that you had $10,000 on deposit. So that is my top 10 different physical size notes. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you have any other notes that I didn't have on this list, please list them below as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.